here, professional adventurer. How are you doing? Me? Oh, I'm fine. I just got back from deepest, darkest Clacton. Have you been there? Crazy place. Oh, I've seen some strange things on my adventures, let me tell you. Big things, small things, weird things. Take, for example, this fellow here. The platypus. He's a strange-looking fellow, with a large, flat beak and a long, flat tail, and large, flat feet. Do you know how he got his shape? Some say he's made from all the bits that were left over when the animals were first made. But I'm going to tell you the real reason why he looks the way he does. Long ago, when the earth was new and the animals newly made, there lived a handsome creature called Platypus. He was half bird, half mammal. He had the beak and feet of a graceful bird. His face was exquisite, with large, soft eyes. He had long, soft fur that shimmered and shone with all the colours of the rainbow. His body was roly-poly round, and his tail long and exceedingly bushy. Now Platypus was very arrogant. He knew he was good-looking, and nothing pleased him as much as to be admired. So he spent his days prancing and dancing and strutting and striding before all the other animals. No other animal has my rainbow fur, my delicate beak, my dainty feet. Oh, and my beautiful eyes, he'd murmur as he looked down pityingly at some scuttling lizard or other. He'd seek out all the puddles and ponds and spend hours admiring his reflection in the water. "How handsome am I?" he'd say. "I'm so cool." Some days he craved the company of other animals. And why do you think that was? Not because he was lonely, no, but because he wanted to hear them say how good-looking he was, and so he could criticize them. "Wombat, don't you wish you had my gorgeous tail?" "Well, Platypus," replied Wombat, shaking his head, "if I had your tail, which is indeed gorgeous, I would have to dig a much longer entrance to my burrow to accommodate it. Kangaroo, your legs are far too large for your body. Wouldn't you look better with my fine limbs?" "Your legs are indeed the envy of all. But don't you see that I need big legs to jump the way I do?" said Kangaroo irritably as he hopped away. "Kookaburra, your beak is far, far too long. You look so much more elegant with a beak my size." "If I had your beak, I wouldn't be able to open it wide enough to sing as loudly as I do," snapped Kookaburra. "Besides," she continued in a softer voice, "if I had your beak, you wouldn't be so unique, so obviously superior to us ordinary creatures." Platypus nodded, pleased with Kookaburra's reply. He fluttered his long lashes, poked his beak in the air, and without so much as a "by your leave," continued on his way. "I'm so attractive, so amazing. I really am a cut above all the others," he muttered, breaking into a self-satisfied smile. Very soon, the animals became tired of Platypus. "He's such a bore," said Kangaroo. "He only thinks of himself and how handsome he is." "He doesn't notice us," said Wombat. want our friendship," said Kookaburra sadly. "Perhaps we should leave Platypus alone for a few days. Then he might miss our company," said Kangaroo. So that's just what the three friends did. Whenever they saw Platypus approach, they walked off in the other direction. So now Platypus was alone. There was no one to admire him. "Oh, I'm so bored," said Platypus. "I'm such a handsome fellow, yet I can't find anyone to tell me how lovely I am. I shall have to find somewhere else to walk, somewhere where I'll come across new creatures who will surely admire me." Now, as you probably know, the area where the animals lived was covered in puddles and ponds. One of the pools was a rock pool, full of muddy water, which could only be reached by a narrow, rocky path that was overhung with tall trees. And in those trees lived all sorts of creatures, parrots and koalas, snakes and lizards, and even a flying fox or two. "Yes," thought Platypus, "that is where I need to go. Those creatures need to see how splendid I am." So the very next morning he strutted off. "I'm feeling especially handsome today. Look how the sunlight is playing with the jewel-like colours of my fur," said Platypus, admiring his shoulders. "The animals in the trees are sure to adore me. Any moment now they'll stop what they're doing and come to admire me." He twirled around excitedly. "Strut, strut, strut. How gorgeous I am. I really am quite extraordinary," thought Platypus. "I'll hold my head up so the animals can gaze upon my beautiful face. Strut, strut, strut. I'll hold my head higher still so that the parrots in the treetops can see me. Higher, much higher. I must hold my head so that even the sun can look into my beautiful eyes. Strut, strut, strut." Platypus now had his eyes raised to the skies. Of course, strutting along like this meant he couldn't see what was in front of him. Whoops. He'd reached the end of the path. "Down, down, down," went Platypus. Splat! He belly flopped into the rock pool. The water hit him hard. What a bedraggled platypus! Where now his rainbow fur and lustrous eyes, his beautiful beak and delicate feet, his bushy tail and roly-poly body? Platypus had been flattened by his fall. Now his beak was a large flat bill. His feet were flat flippers. His eyes tiny slivers. His body and tail had lost their roly-poly roundness. His rainbow fur was the colour of the muddy water. "What have I done?" cried Platypus. Now he was sorry for his silly behaviour. He realised he needed friends. True friends like Kangaroo, Kookaburra and Wombat. He'd learned his lesson, the hard way, some might say, and he promised to change. So nowadays, if you spot a kangaroo, a kookaburra, or a wombat, you might just find a platypus nearby. Why? Well, that's obvious. They've become the best of friends. And that's the story of how Platypus got his shape, and his colour too.